So hyperthyroidism, or an overactive thyroid, happens when your thyroid gland produces too much of the thyroid hormones known as thyroxine T4 and T3. And since thyroid hormones increase the metabolism of cells, you can experience many symptoms related to having a high metabolism if you have hyperthyroidism. And these include an irregular heartbeat, nervousness, sudden weight gain, insomnia, and also a rapid heartbeat. Now, the most common cause of hyperthyroidism is an autoimmune condition known as Graves' disease. And this condition is more common if you are a woman over the age of 20. And as your immune system attacks your thyroid gland, it stimulates the release of an antibody known as thyrotropin receptor antibody, or TRAB, which causes your thyroid to make too much thyroid hormones. Now, the standard, modern medical therapy consists of three main treatment options. The first is antithyroid medications that suppress the production of thyroid hormones. The second is radioactive iodine, which destroys your thyroid gland. Now, the third is similar, which is, the radioactive iodine destroys your thyroid gland. The third option that is very common is the surgical removal of your thyroid gland. Now, these last two options, both the radioactive iodine, which destroys your thyroid gland, as well as the surgical removal of your thyroid gland, both of these, if you get either of these treatments, you will develop hypothyroidism, which is low thyroid function. That's what I have. I have hypothyroidism, or at least I did at one point. And if you have this, then you're just signing up for a different type of problem. And if you have hypothyroidism, well, this means that, if you're going to go the conventional route, again, you're going to have to supplement with thyroid hormone supplementation for the rest of your life. And that's not something that if I had hyperthyroidism, would want to do. Okay? There's no sense to me in replacing one thyroid problem with another thyroid problem. Destroying your thyroid or taking it out is not a cure. It's not healing your thyroid. It's like when you have arthritic pain on your hands, you don't want to cut off your hand. Whatever was causing your problem to begin with, it will continue to cause you problems. This one issue, the hyperthyroidism, is just a symptom of something that your body is reacting to. And it may be many factors, but getting rid of your thyroid in the end will only cause more problems. Whenever your body is in pain, bothering you, it's speaking to you and it's telling you, I need something that I don't have. It could be rest, it could be, abstaining from a certain type of food or foods, getting away from a stressful situation. It could be many different things. That's what we're going to talk about. What is your body telling you if you have hyperthyroidism? Okay? In order to treat hyperthyroidism holistically, you have to address the root causes, which include stress, hormone imbalance, chronic infections, or gluten allergy. This is a common one. And these things must be identified and treated. Now, if you treat it early enough, it's very possible to be able to fully heal from hyperthyroidism or Graves' disease solely using holistic natural methods. Now, if that's not possible, then you can use holistic methods together with an antithyroid medication such as methimazole to maintain a better thyroid balance. But don't be fooled into thinking that if you get the radioactive iodine to destroy your thyroid, or if you get surgery to have it removed, don't be fooled into thinking that you will no longer need medication. That is false. That's false. You're just going to be going you're just going to be having to need different kind of medication. Now, the symptoms of hyperthyroidism include anxiety and nervousness, increased sweating, breast enlargement in men, insomnia, possibly, menstrual irregularities, diarrhea, muscle weakness, difficulty concentrating, rapid or irregular heartbeat. That doesn't mean you have to experience all of these symptoms, but the combination of some of these symptoms could indicate hyperthyroidism. And you can easily get a diagnosis from a medical professional anyways, okay? You don't necessarily have to take the treatment that they give you, but going for a diagnosis can be helpful. Other symptoms include double vision, restlessness, eyeballs that protrude, shortness of breath with exertion, thyroid enlargement or goiter, eye irritation and tearing, tremor, fatigue, weight gain. Weight gain can be rare, but still possible. Heat intolerance, weight loss, and increased appetite. So the following is a list of root causes that are accepted by modern medicine. Okay? They look at genetics. They consider genetics a family history of the disease. Your sex or gender. Women are 7 times more likely to develop Graves' disease than men are. Your age. Graves' disease usually develops after age 20. Whether or not you smoke. Smoking can be a root cause. Pregnancy and stress. Now that's what modern medicine acknowledges. But holistic healers also look at food allergies, such as gluten. And there have been many people who have been able to control hyperthyroidism by going gluten-free. And actually, gluten can trigger various types of autoimmune disorders, not just hyperthyroidism. Other possible root causes that holistic healers recognize are toxic metals, poor digestive function, overall hormone imbalance, particularly stress hormones such as DHEA and cortisol, which modulate your immune system, and finally environmental toxins such as pesticides and other things which I cannot name, otherwise YouTube or other platforms will probably flag this video as dangerous. Okay. Now the following are some tests that can help assess possible reasons or causes for hyperthyroidism. And some of these tests you can purchase a test kit simply by going Amazon.com, and you can self-test for these things. So you can test for thyroid hormone levels and antibodies. That would be a blood test. I believe that is available online through Amazon and other sources. You can also test for food allergies and sensitivities. There's blood, stool, and electrodermal tests for this. There's also a toxic metals test, which is available for testing through urine, blood, or hair, as well as digestive function and absorption. And this would be a stool analysis or a urine test. And also environmental toxins, including blood and urine testing for these types of things. Now, I'd like to remind you at this time that the slides for this wellness webinar, as well as links to the notes and resources that I mentioned, are all going to be available. so you don't have to worry about taking notes or anything like that. Just go to arukah.com, arukah.com/Graves, Graves, and you can get the slides and notes and resources, etc. Okay, now let's talk about diet. It doesn't matter if we're talking about healing from Graves' disease and hyperthyroidism, or if we're talking about healing from cancer or diabetes or, whatever. You have to make sure that if you are sick, in order to support your immune system, you should be eating a diet that is focused on whole foods in their natural state as much as possible. And this means, meat, vegetables, fruit, fish, legumes, nuts, seeds, non-gluten grains, okay, especially when it comes to Graves and hyperthyroidism, as well as, some anti-inflammatory herbs and supplements, which we'll talk about later. But we need to avoid things that, number one, have gluten. Number two, you might want to also avoid some other common allergens such as cow milk, and go on a casein-free diet. And also you want to avoid toxins and chemicals such as artificial dyes, colorings, food colorings, sweeteners, fake sugars, and also simple sugars like white sugar, desserts, sweets, candy, anything like that. Sugar will lower your immune system in general, and that's not helpful if you're fighting any kind of sickness or disease. You want to stay away from fast food, McDonald's, Taco Bell, all those convenience foods. And you want to stay away from things that are packaged, canned, things that have an ingredient list, etc. You should be eating foods where you buy each ingredient yourself, fresh and perishable. You buy the vegetable, you buy the meat, you buy the salt, you buy, etc. The more likely it is for something to have an ingredient list, the more unhealthy it is, especially when it has those the chemicals. But even if it doesn't have chemicals, the fact that it's packaged means that it probably has something in it that is not going to be helpful for healing. Okay, it could be very hindering for healing. Okay, now I'd like to talk about some herbs and supplements that are recommended by the top healers of our day. In my opinion, master herbalist Dr. Christopher, not a medical doctor, but an herbalist, as well as naturopaths and such as Dr. Josh Axe. He's a naturopath, and also some holistic medical doctors such as Dr. Russell Blaylock, who is a neurosurgeon but also ran a nutritional clinic to help heal his patients. Okay, so I'd like to start with one of neurosurgeon Dr. Russell Blaylock's suggestions, which is iodine. Okay, higher doses of iodine can suppress thyroid hormone production. Now, you probably don't want to. I wouldn't start with a high dose of iodine. I would start with something low, and then work up to something higher. Iodine is good for both hypo and hyperthyroidism. It's just good for your thyroid in general. And most people today are lacking in iodine. I know you'll be able to find contradictory opinions, but the opinions of the holistic healers that I trust, including neurosurgeon Dr. Russell Blaylock, who helps to heal people naturally, nutritionally, he recommends iodine. One of the symptoms of hyperthyroidism is goiter, and that is definitely an indication of low iodine. Okay, so I would start with a low dose, a low dose, and then increase that and see if that helps to improve the symptoms. The next thing that I would like to talk about is an herbal formula. So I'd like to recommend an herbal formula from Master Herbalist Dr. Christopher, and he called it his glandular formula, and it consists of just 2 herbs, mullein leaf and lobelia, and you can buy those from mountainroseherbs.com or pacificbotanicals.com. Dr. Christopher's Herb Shop does sell it in pill format, but I don't think that's the best way to take it. I think it's best to take it in herbal tea form, because the hot water will draw the properties out of those herbs. Take it that way, and you could start with, mix those 2 herbs together, buy them in bulk, mix them together, and I'll put this on the notes and resources that you can download at ruka.com/graves. So basically, mix the herbs together and just start with a teaspoon of herbs in a cup of tea, and work your way up until maybe you get to 2 or 3 teaspoons per cup. Maybe start with a teaspoon per cup of herbs per day for 1 week, and then maybe try to increase it to 2 teaspoons, and then just see how you feel. When I was taking my herbal calcium tea, what I did was I took a tablespoon of herbs daily for 1 month, and I didn't notice any difference until 1 month. And after a month, I realized, after taking this herbal calcium tea, that I was healed of so many different issues that I was having. But it was so gradual, so subtle, so safe, that I didn't, I didn't really feel like anything was happening until I reflected 30 days. Oh, my gums aren't bleeding anymore. Oh, my back pain is gone. Oh, my knees are feeling good. All these different things. So what's great about herbal medicines is that it's completely safe, and when you take them in their whole form, in a form such as a tea, your body has natural mechanisms to tell you that it's enough. You might feel a little nauseous. You might get diarrhea. But it will be temporary, and it'll go away. And once your body starts telling you that it's enough, then you can cut back a little bit, and then you've found your optimal dose. And then sometimes your body will tell you that this is enough for now, but later on, when you might need more, you can increase it later. Okay, so herbs are simply a food. They're a food found in nature. These herbs, mullein and lobelia, they've been used by our ancestors for thousands of years. It's completely safe. I've used both of these herbs myself, consumed both of these herbs myself, and thousands of people all around the world have as well. And this is an herbal combination that Master Herbalist Dr. Christopher has successfully used with many people who have thyroid issues, including Graves' disease and hyperthyroidism. Next recommendation that I'd like to share is another herb, and this recommendation comes from naturopath Dr. Josh Axe. Okay, so he recommends ashwagandha. Actually, ashwagandha is also another herb, and you could take this herb powdered. You could also add it to the tea, to the herbal formula from Master Herbalist Dr. Christopher, or you could use this alone. But ashwagandha is nice because it's a very powerful herb that supports the thyroid, and it's been proven to heal thyroid and adrenal issues. And ashwagandha is known as an adaptogenic herb, and that means that they help you adapt and deal with stress. And stress is one of the root causes of hyperthyroidism. And ashwagandha is safe, and it's been used for thousands of years in Chinese medicine. Um, um, there are other adaptogenic herbs like tulsi or holy basil, rhodiola, ginseng, licorice root. So these are all adaptogen herbs, but in particular, ashwagandha may be the most effective, especially for hyperthyroidism. And there's also been a study done, which is available on PubMed, some scientific research done that show that ashwagandha is good for both hyperthyroidism as well as hypothyroidism. It's just good for your thyroid and your adrenal glands. It's just good for your it's just good for you. It's good for helping out. And stress is an issue, is a root cause of both hyperthyroidism as well as hypothyroidism, as well as adrenal issues, adrenal fatigue. So you should definitely consider adding ashwagandha into your list of herbs for hyperthyroidism and Graves. Now, the next supplement that I'd like to talk about is recommended by two holistic medical doctors, Dr. James Balch, as well as neurosurgeon Dr. Russell Blaylock. And this supplement is L-carnitine. Dr. Balch recommends 1,000 milligrams 2 to 4 times daily. And there was one study that found that it reduced hyperthyroid symptoms. In the Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism, so that's the Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism, they found that L-carnitine supplementation significantly alleviated the symptoms associated with hyperthyroidism. There was a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled 6-month trial that involved 50 women, and the researchers found that 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams daily of oral L-carnitine was able to relieve many symptoms associated with hyperthyroidism without any toxicity or medication interaction, and it also helped to reduce elevated liver enzymes. So that's really great. And Dr. Russell Blaylock, neurosurgeon Russell Blaylock, he talks about how your L-carnitine stores in your body are depleted, when you have problems such as Graves and hyperthyroidism, which is why supplementing this particular nutrient is important. Okay, 2 more herbs that I'd like to talk about are bugleweed and lemon balm. Now, both of these herbs contain substances that inhibit antibody binding to your thyroid gland, and this is helpful for hyperthyroidism. There is a supplement available on Amazon by a company called Terravita. It's called Thyroid Support, and it has bugleweed, motherwort, and lemon balm. And so these bugleweed and lemon balm are recommended by holistic medical doctor Dr. Balch. But if you look at the testimonies, the comments of this particular supplement, there are a lot of people who have reported finding success in healing their hyperthyroidism through it. Now, personally, I know that the most affordable way to get any herb is to buy the herb in bulk, as I said before, through mountainroseherbs.com or pacificbotanicals.com, and then make a tea out of it. Okay, so if you get these herbs, you could add a little bit, you could add it or combine it with the other teas, or you could alternate. You could have one tea at a time. You might not like the taste of some of the herbs, so you might want to keep them separate. But people say that taking it in pill formula is effective, even the mullein leaf and lobelia. So I'll provide links to the individual herbs as well as to the herbs in capsule form. So I'll do that for both the bugleweed and lemon balm, as well as for the mullein leaf and lobelia. I personally prefer drinking herbs in tea form, but there are people who say that taking just the herbs in powder form, and swallowing capsules with the powder have been effective. So, and also another thing that's some people also, depending on their own body, the sensitivity of their bodies, and also how severe the condition is, some people can find relief, can notice difference almost right away, or it only takes a day. And sometimes for some people it can take a month to notice a difference. So I would not give up just because you don't feel something right away. Okay. As an herbalist, I am trained to be experimental. You are your own best healer. Remember, I have this on our website. It was Hippocrates. He said that the greatest medicine of all is teaching people how not to need it, and everyone has a doctor in him or her. We just have to help it in its work. You are your best healer. I completely believe that. The medical doctor that you may or may not go to is most likely experimenting as well, especially if he doesn't specialize in hyperthyroidism specifically. So I am not afraid to experiment. That's how I have a track record of being able to avoid doctors and pharmaceutical drugs for myself and also for my family. I've raised all of my children holistically they've never taken a single drug, any one of them. And we're healthy, we can overcome. We've overcome everything that has come our way so far, naturally, through herbs, supplements, vitamins, good diet, sunshine, rest, etc. And the last thing that I'd like to talk about is B complex. B vitamins are a good way to help with symptoms of hyperthyroidism and just to support your overall health in general. But also, I would also take an extra amount of B12. So I would take a B complex and also B12 by itself. B12 is very important, especially for stress. For stress management, B12 becomes very much depleted, and that's one of the root causes, as we stated before, of hyperthyroidism and Graves. So, of course, you should always remember to get enough sleep, get enough rest, trust in God. Don't worry about your future. Just focus on each day. Focus on each day's tasks and what you have to do for that day. Don't worry so much about the past. You can't change it. And don't worry so much about the future because it's not even there yet. And you have enough on your plate for each day, right? That's one of the best ways to handle stress, is to only focus on what you have to for each day. And also to have a positive mindset and just an attitude of gratitude. Joy can be very, very healing. I think the Bible says that a merry heart does good like a medicine. And of course, just resting, every 7 days, every 7th day, getting enough sleep, also so important. at least 7, but if you're trying to heal, I would say more like 9 hours. So I pray that you'll be granted wisdom to unlock your inner healer. Okay? The creator of heaven and earth is also the great physician, and he can heal everything from sickness and disease to broken hearts and homes. He can heal you. He can give you the wisdom that you need to heal yourself, to heal your body. You have to pray, and you have to trust, and you have to do. You have to walk in faith as well. And don't forget, you can also download the notes and resources for this wellness webinar at aruka.com/graves. And, I know that a lot of the things that I've been sharing with you, I'm sharing them with you from holistic healers, herbalists, medical doctors, naturopaths, but the majority of medical doctors out there probably have no idea about anything that I've just said. I'm going to give you the links to the resources and stuff like that, where you can learn more about these things and purchase these things. But if you would like to have a deeper understanding of how to become a holistic healer, I invite you to take a look at our virtual open house videos. If you would like to be a certified holistic healer, just go to aruka.com, ARUKAH.com. Shalom.